Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
You know, it's funny how radio
This thing that's been around for over a century.
still manages to surprise us. We've got a stack of your latest finds here.
These from Taiwan tech updates. Even some early holiday cheer from the UK.
Oh, wow.
Looks like September was a pretty exciting month in the world of radio.
Yeah.
Ready to tune in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so
One thing that really caught my eye that you pointed out to me.
was this XH Data D808?
It's not just another radio.
This thing is packed with features.
Like SSB?
Which, and you probably know this better than I do,
Yeah.
is huge GE for DXers.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Picking up those faint signals from halfway across the world.
It's really something.
I mean, the D808 with its single sideband capability,
It opens up a whole new world for those fascinated by DXing.
it really is like having a window to every corner of the globe.
Wow.
Allowing you to listen in on conversations and broadcasts you'd never otherwise encounter.
That's incredible.
Now that's what I'm talking about, making the world feel a little smaller, one radio wave at a time.
Exactly.
And speaking of reaching a wider audience,
Did you see the news about Android Auto?
adding AM/FM radio functionality.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
So many people use their phones for navigation and music in the car already.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brilliant move, I think.
It's moving towards integrating traditional radio with our modern digital habits.
Right.
You know, and it's not even just Android.
This whole trend of digital transformation.
It's happening across the board. Remember that RTDNA survey we were looking at?
Yeah.
38% of radio stations?
We're going all in on digital initiatives,
Wow.
especially content creation.
Okay.
Podcasts seem to be all the rage.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It's like they're saying, hey, we can be your go-to for podcasts, too.
Exactly.
But tell me,
What do you think this shift towards podcasts and social media?
what does this mean for the future of radio?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
But it's clear that radio stations are adapting.
They're becoming these multi-platform content creators to stay relevant.
Okay.
And podcasts especially for non-commercial and larger stations.
They offer a unique way to engage with audiences on demand.
And even build these really dedicated communities around specific interests.
That's interesting, isn't it?
This constant push and pull.
Between
The familiar comfort of tuning into a broadcast.
and then this ever-evolving world of on-demand content.
Yeah, it's true.
But let's switch gears for a moment.
And talk about something that truly embodies the magic of radio,
Okay.
the QSL card.
We have one here from Radio Taiwan International,
Oh, wow.
and it represents so much more than just a confirmation of reception.
Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that single card, it tells a story.
Of dedication and connection that transcends geographical boundaries.
Right.
I mean, it represents someone tuning in likely from thousands of miles away.
To experience a live broadcast and then receiving this tangible piece of confirmation weeks later.
Wow.
That's the beauty of shortwave radio.
Its ability to foster a sense of global community through a shared passion.
You know, it really makes you appreciate.
That even in our hyper-connected world.
There's something special about that physical connection. A QSL card arriving in your mailbox weeks after a broadcast.
A tangible reminder of that moment you tuned in.
Yeah, it speaks volumes.
About the enduring allure of radio.
Particularly shortwave, even in the face of global events.
Right.
Like as the Rahi president himself pointed out.
It becomes crucial during times of crisis.
Yeah.
A reliable source of information when other channels might be compromised.
It's a powerful reminder.
Of the role radio plays beyond entertainment.
Wouldn't you say
Seriously.
a lifeline connecting us during uncertainty?
And speaking of connections,
We can't forget those dedicated folks.
who spend their days and nights.
Hunting down those distant signals, those DXing events coming up.
The International Medium Wave and Shortwave Contest, and the ULERD 2025 DX Parliament.
Those must be like massive gatherings of radio enthusiasts.
Oh, absolutely. These events bring together DXers from all walks of life.
All united by their passion for exploring the airwaves.
Wow.
Imagine the thrill of the hunt.
The satisfaction of logging a new station.
The camaraderie of sharing stories and tips with fellow enthusiasts from around the world.
You're making me want to grab a radio and join the hunt.
It's amazing how this hobby DXing can be both solitary.
You alone with your equipment searching for those faint signals, and yet also so deeply connected to a global community.
Precisely.
And this sense of community extends beyond DXing, too.
Take the recent launch of Caravan radio in the UK, for example.
All right.
It's radio tailored to a specific niche.
Those who love the open road and the caravan lifestyle.
That's so cool.
It reminds me of that article you shared.
About browsing those old Radio Shack catalogs online.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those massive books?
Filled with all sorts of gadgets.
Including those shortwave radios we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I used to spend hours flipping through those pages.
Dreaming of all the places I could tune into.
It's fascinating how those catalogs captured the spirit.
Like discovery and innovation.
That's so central to radio.
All right.
Each page was like a portal to a world of possibilities.
I like that.
Speaking of which,
Have you seen that the 2025 edition of the World Radio TV Handbook is available for pre-order?
the WRTH,
I can't believe it's that time of year already.
for our listeners who might not be familiar.
Can you tell us a bit about what makes this book so special for radio enthusiasts?
So imagine having a comprehensive guide,
To radio and television stations from every corner of the globe.
all neatly compiled in one place.
Okay.
That's the WRTH,
It's an indispensable resource for DXers.
providing frequencies, schedules.
All sorts of valuable information to help them track down those elusive stations.
Wow.
But it's not just for DXing.
It's a fascinating glimpse into the world of broadcasting as a whole.
And I've got to say, you can't talk about radio.
Without mentioning those 2 Christmas radio stations that launched in the UK this month.
Heart Xmas and Smooth Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Talk about getting a head start on the holidays.
I guess it's never too early to spread a little cheer through the airwaves, right?
Never too early.
It's like they say it's beginning to sound a lot like Christmas.
But seriously, from nostalgic Radio Shack catalogs to the promise of new discoveries in the WRTA.
It's amazing to see how radio effortlessly blends its rich history with constant evolution.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
This ability to adapt and reinvent itself while staying true to its core values.
That's what makes radio so resilient.
And that brings us to the big question.
The one we always end up pondering
Oh,
in a world saturated with digital platforms.
what do you think is the key?
To radio's enduring appeal.
What keeps people coming back to this seemingly old-fashioned medium?
That's a question worth considering, isn't it?
I think it boils down to something actually quite simple.
Human connection. Whether it's the intimacy of a late-night talk show host.
Whispering into the microphone.
Right.
The shared experience of millions tuning into a global music broadcast.
Or even the solitary thrill of a DXer catching that elusive signal from across the globe.
Radio offers a sense of community.
Of shared experience that transcends technological boundaries.
You know, you're absolutely right.
It's that feeling of being part of something larger than ourselves.
That sense of shared experience that keeps us tuning in year after year, decade after decade.
Precisely.
And as long as radio continues to embrace innovation.
To adapt to new platforms while staying true to its core strength.
Connecting with listeners on a personal and emotional level.
I have no doubt that its future remains incredibly bright.
Well, what a fantastic note to end on.
It's been an absolute pleasure diving into this eclectic mix of radio-themed treasures with you.
Until next time, keep exploring the airwaves.
Who knows what fascinating discoveries await.